Got some exciting stuff to share in my haul today. I've got some manga, as well as a bunch of merch, a ton of pins, a ton of prints, as well as a few other merch items. I will have timestamps below, so feel free to jump around if you want. And any of the fan art or fan-made merch, I will try to remember to include either in the timestamps or in the video description the name of the artist or the pin maker in case you want to go check them out. But I'll go ahead and get started with the manga. So first I have volume 4 of Sand Chronicles. I feel like I've been talking about this series every haul video because I've just been gradually picking up the volumes that I'm missing. So volume 4 was one that I was missing, and now I'm missing 3 more volumes to have the series complete in my collection. I read this series about 2 years ago, and I had been wanting to collect it ever since, but it was heavily out of stock, so I decided to wait until there were reprints maybe. But after hearing about Sensei's passing in January this year, I wanted to go ahead and just try to collect the series, even if it meant trying to search for secondhand listings. So that's what I've been doing. This is a shoujo series that follows these 2 main characters, mainly this girl here, who at a young age goes through something very traumatic, and the whole series just follows her throughout her life, young age, into high school, into adulthood, and how that trauma follows her and impacts her mental health. But I really, really love the storytelling in this series. There's a lot of triggering content, so make sure to check the trigger warnings if you want to get into this series. Next is Dengeki Daisy, volumes 5 and 8. This is another series that I feel like I've been talking about every haul video because it's another one that has been heavily out of stock since I started collecting it, and I'm just gradually picking up secondhand copies as I can find them. This is another shoujo series, and with these 2 volumes, I also am still missing 3 to complete the series. But I'm feeling pretty positive now about this series, about collecting it, because this is another one that I wanted to collect, but half of the series was out of stock after I read it the first time and wanted to collect it. So I bought those copies new and just have been gradually trying to find secondhand listings for the rest of the volumes. So the last series, Sand Chronicles and Dengeki Daisy, I'm getting closer and closer to completing them in my collection. But Dengeki Daisy follows this girl here who is a high school student and follows her through some very action-packed events after her brother passes away at the start of the series, and an acquaintance of his steps in at his request to be a support for her. This series does have an age gap romance, so definitely won't be for everyone, but it's a really exciting series because it has so many genres that it covers. It has romance, but it also has a lot of really good comedy, really good action. It's very suspenseful and has moments that it's like a thriller. There are some tragedy elements as well. When I read this series the first time, I laughed, I cried, I squealed. So definitely has a bit of everything. And I'm really looking forward to, once I get the remaining 3 volumes that I'm missing, I'm going to do a reread of the series. Next is One Piece, volume 105. I've just been collecting the new volumes as they've been releasing. I did just in February do a full reread of the entire series, and it was really exciting to read through it in my physical volumes because my first time reading this series was all on the Shonen Jump app, 100%. So this time I read through my physicals, and then when I caught up to 104, then I read the rest to catch up on the Shonen Jump app. So now I have 105. I think in Japan they just released 108, but we'll just continue to pre-order these volumes and pick them up as they release. But I'm sure everyone already knows all about One Piece. It's a shonen adventure series that follows different pirate crews as they are exploring and sailing around, having adventures. There are so many characters in this series that I love, and the story is currently in the Egghead Island arc, and I'm really just enjoying it and excited to see what's going to happen next. I've been reading the chapters as they release as well on the Shonen Jump app, so definitely a big fan of this series. And my favorite character in One Piece is Sanji. And I just got the new release of the Food Wars volume that features Sanji, Shokugeki no Sanji. And I have read this already on the Shonen Jump app, and I love this volume. Every chapter just follows Sanji and his different cooking adventures in different settings, and it does take place in the One Piece universe, so each of the different chapters is basically in a different arc of this series. But it features him having some kind of struggle that he needs to overcome with regards to cooking. And then it is in the art style of Food Wars. But I really love the art style. I'm kind of bummed that we didn't get color pages because in the Shonen Jump app, all of the chapter cover illustrations are colored. But the Japanese volume also has it in black and white, but I would have loved to have gotten these in full color. But excited to read this from my physical volume soon, and really, really happy that this got an English release. So that's all for my manga. Now I'm going to get into my merch. The first item, I'm just going to do a quick zoom in over here of my Toji figure. I got this a couple weeks ago actually, and I forgot to feature it in a video. I didn't do a full unboxing video because I was trying to carefully film it in case anything was damaged. But I did film some clips and made it into a YouTube short, so I'll link that YouTube short up in the corner. But really, really happy with this figure. I do also have a resin statue of Sanji that I bought from the same company. This Toji one is from a different studio though, but I'll mention in the video description where I bought this Toji statue as well as my Sanji statue. Alright, so first I'm going to go through a bunch of fan art prints that I got recently from Inprnt. I actually am not a big fan of Inprnt because of the paper that they use. I don't always frame my prints, so even though this is nice, good quality paper, it's kind of a nightmare for the way that I usually display my prints, which is usually taping them to the walls of my bookcases, because a lot of these prints will just curl, and even if I press them under heavy art books, they still will just curl afterward, and then if I tape them to my bookcase, then they just gradually start to peel on their own. But all the art that I bought this time from Inprnt is all art from artists that I follow on Instagram who don't have print shops, so I wanted to support their art and also be able to have it in my collection and on my shelves. So these first three Sanji prints are the ones that prompted me to put in this order because after I saw these, I just had to have them. And they're all by the same artist. I will have the artist's Instagram in the timestamps. But I just love their art style. I love how they draw Sanji. And these were some of my favorites of theirs that they've shared on Instagram. And they had them up on their Inprnt shop. So really happy to have these now. I'm gonna try to plan where to put them on display because I want to be able to just turn and look at them. But I need to find a good spot for them. Next is this Cowboy Sanji. Had to have this one. I love their art style. Again, check the timestamps for their Instagram handle. But it's like Cowboy Sheriff Sanji. And I love it. I love his face. And then this one is a smaller print that I got. It's like a dark Sanji with black hair. This was really fun on Instagram. They did a Draw This in Your Style challenge, and so there were a bunch of similar Sanjis floating around for a while that were in this same kind of pose, so I wanted to get this one as well. I ordered a couple mini prints from Inprnt because I was hoping they would be printed on a more stiff paper and not curl as much as the normal prints. But I got this one. This is a friend on Instagram. I'm really happy in the community on Instagram. I've been able to become friends with some of these artists and definitely wanted to get this one of Sanji. This artist is going to be opening a print shop in the future, but I just couldn't wait and I wanted to get this one. I have ordered a print from them in the past on Inprnt in a larger size, but because I don't like the paper from Inprnt, I just got this little one this time because this is one I'm going to get in a larger size once they open their print shop. This Sanji is by another friend on Instagram. After she did this Sanji, I loved it so much and I kept gushing to her about it. And she actually sent me the file for this and said I could just print a copy, which I did, and it's already on my shelves. But I wanted to, with this order on Inprnt, buy a mini print so that I could support her little business and also have this smaller one. I did print a larger copy of it for my bookcase, but I wanted a small one so that I could put it in a top loader and bring it with me on an upcoming trip. So I love this drawing though so much. He looks so good. Ah! And then the last Sanji print is another friend on Instagram, and I just really wanted to get these 4 Sanjis. She also doesn't have a print shop, so had to get it on Inprnt. I was kind of torn with this one because I kind of want to cut it up and put the different Sanjis in different top loaders, but then there are so many little details that I love, like these little candies and knives and Sanji's lighter. So I did just get a larger print of it so that I could enjoy all the small details. But now with all these big prints, I have to find a place to put them all on display so that I can enjoy them. Next, I have a bunch of pin mail of Sanji pins that I've picked up recently. And again, I'll have the pin makers in the video description and timestamps. But starting out, I have this little chibi Sanji pin. It's so cute. So I do have a Shin-Ah and a Toji pin that was designed by this artist, but then this Sanji pin was designed by that artist and then pinned and sold by a different pin maker. But I'm glad that I was able to get this one so that I could have all 3 of them, 3 of my favorite characters in the same style. From that same pin maker, I also got 2 pre-orders in that were both blind orders, so I just knew they were Sanji related, and of course I had to get them. They had a black nickel variant and a gold variant, and I didn't know what the pin design was going to be. I didn't know which variant I would like better, so I just got both of them, and they're both stunning. I just really love this section of the story on Whole Cake Island with Sanji and kind of coming to terms with himself and with his family. But because I got both of them, I'm going to try to just choose one and maybe sell or trade the other. I do have some other pins that I do collect multiple variants for, but I'm trying to stop having that habit as much because I'm going to be running out of space soon on my Sanji board and going to have to start making hard decisions so that I can fit everything on one board. Next, I have a pin that I got secondhand. It's one that I've been searching for, so I'm really glad that I got a hold of it. This is one that has a few different variants, and this is the one I wanted. So I was really happy when I saw a listing for it. But the other variants are like a Germa 66 version with a number 3 on his tank top, and then a red version. I think of him wearing a red tank top and then a different color jacket, but this is the one I wanted. And then for my Sanji pins, I got one more set of pins, and these were sold as a set of 3. And they're all panels from the manga. So this was the black nickel variants. These are 3 of them. And then there was also a set that was the gold variant. And the gold variant had different color backgrounds, but this is the one I wanted. Honestly, this was the pin I wanted of the 3 of them, but I had to buy the set to get it, of Sanji in Whole Cake Island. I love this one. The gold variant had a really dark background, so I wanted this one because the roses were red and the background was purple. So I was thinking I would just buy the set and only keep this one because it is just, oh, he's so cute, but it's such a gorgeous design, and I love this section of the story. And I was planning to just sell the other 2, but I really like this Mr. Prince one from Alabasta, and so I think I'm going to keep this one too. But then I think I'm going to try to trade this one maybe or sell it, but it just has like a giant hunk of meat on this side, which I'd probably appreciate more if I collected Luffy pins as well. I know he is the chef of the Straw Hats, but I don't eat meat, and so I don't like looking at just like a big chunk of meat in fan art. And in this case, a fan art pin. And this was the larger one. The other 2 were each half-sized. So I'm glad that there were 2 of the 3 pins that I wanted to keep in my collection. And then the rest of my video is going to be different merch items that were gifted to me by a friend. Thank you so much, Cadence. And first is a fan art print that she herself drew after I requested this character in her Instagram stories. So this is Fukuda from Ao Ashi. He's my favorite character in Ao Ashi. He's one of my favorite all-time characters from anime and manga. After Reinha and Sanji, I just really love his character. Ao Ashi is a favorite series of mine, but I'm really happy now. That's her little stamp there. But really happy to have fan art of him because Ao Ashi doesn't have a lot of official merch. And then in addition to that, there is hardly any fan art that I've been able to find. So I was really happy that she drew him for me and then gifted me a print of it. I had actually asked her if I could buy the file from her and just print a copy for my personal collection. And she said no because she wanted to gift it to me instead. So thank you so much, Cadence. And I love too that she's drawn 2 of my favorite characters now. She also drew Reinha for me and gifted that to me last year or maybe the year before. But so this is just really special now, a favorite character by one of my friends that I can now have on my shelf. A few other things she sent me in that same package were these 2 character stickers for Raisei wa Tanin, and they were actually in blind bags, so I didn't even know what was going to be inside them, like what type of merch. But I got these 2, and I'm really happy with them because I really love both of these characters. I like most of the characters in the series, but just cute little designs to add to the crime shelf that has Yakuza Fiance on it. She also gifted me this Bungo Stray Dogs acrylic standee of Fukuzawa. He's one of my 2 favorite characters in Bungo Stray Dogs. And I've been trying really hard not to collect larger standees like this. And I've been making up for it by getting tons and tons of mini standees. And I do already have 3 Fukuzawas and mini standees. But I really love this one because I didn't have a standee yet of him in his present day design and outfit. So she's opened the floodgates of larger sized acrylic standees, and sorry, I'm trying to get it to focus. There we go. Oh, I love him. So I'm really happy to have this. As soon as I got him, I put him on display. But he's such a cool character. And then she also sent 2 acrylic panels. And I didn't know what they were at first because I thought they were coasters, but then I thought they're kind of slippery, like if I was to actually use them as coasters, but I think they are just like display acrylic designs. She said they came with the Blu-ray box sets, but she knows that these are my two favorite characters in the series Given. So very cute to have this official merch of these two guys. And speaking of Given, she also sent me a few different pins. So these two pins by the same pin maker of chibi couples. So this one here is that same couple from Given, Aki and Haruki. Very cute. As well as this chibi couple pin from Wotakoi of Hirotaka and Narumi. And these are my first pins by this pin maker. I actually had been following them and just hadn't gone through and made any purchases, even though I would keep up to date with which couples they were releasing. But really happy to have these two now. I do collect Wotakoi pins, so this will go together with those ones on my Wotakoi shelf. She sent a few more pins that were from the same pin maker, these three. So 2 filler pins and a Sanji head, and I love the Sanji head. So of course I collect Sanji pins, and I had never seen this design before. She said that she wasn't sure if I already had it or had it on the way, but I had never seen it, so happy to have this little extra Sanji head in my collection now. I just love the different cute designs that I see of his cute little face. And then the 2 filler pins by the same pin maker are both just kind of couple pins again. So this little heart bubble that you're supposed to maybe put between 2 characters so that they're both saying a heart directed toward each other. And then this one, do not separate them, with the heart and arrows pointing down. So very cute. I did already put these on my shelves. This one on my Snow White with the red hair shelf between Shirayuki and Zen. And then I put this one on my Wotakoi shelf between Kabukura and Hanako. So just very cute little filler pins to make a little couple scene even cuter. And then lastly from that package, 3 fan art prints. So first, this Tokyo Revengers print. I love Tokyo Revengers, and Mitsuya and Dureken are my 2 favorite characters, so I love that they're both on here. And it's kind of hard to tell. You might not be able to tell even though I'm trying to zoom in here, but okay, I can kind of see the texture. It's like kind of like linen paper. So it has a cool texture on it, but I'm gonna have to get this up on my Tokyo Revengers shelf. And then the last 2 prints are both Omi from Haikyu. He's another big favorite of mine, and really love both of these. I don't even know what to say. I'm really happy with these. I have a lot of Omi art because I just really like him, and since I got these ones as well from her, I just have had them on display, so I pulled them down to share them with all of you. But really big fan of Omi, and I'm still just like with every Nendoroid release, just hoping and hoping that he'll get one day. There are so many different Haikyu Nendoroids, and I'm just like, please give us Omi. But that was everything for this haul video. Like I said, a lot of pin mail, a lot of merch, fan art prints. I haven't been getting a ton of manga lately because I haven't really picked anything up other than the out of stock volumes that I've just been hunting down secondhand copies. And then pre-orders, but the past couple weeks I haven't had a lot of pre-orders come. But this is everything this time around, and I'll see you again soon in another video. Thanks for watching.